What's up everybody, Stone from Stick on the Ice here and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be accepting all trades for the Edmonton Oilers for the next 3 seasons. We already know what this team's comprised of, so let's get into it. And on the very first day of the season, before any preseason games have been played, we got offered a trade. The Edmonton Oilers are shipping out Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Cody Ceci to the Ottawa Senators for 2 second-round picks. 2 days later, Edmonton's sending a first-round pick and Oscar Klefbom to Columbus for 2 seconds. We really turned a first-round pick into a second. Nah, this team's bugging. But you know who else is bugging? The people that watch these videos and aren't subscribed. 75% of the people that watch my videos aren't even subscribed. What are you doing? Subscribe right now. I'm trying to hit 4,000 subs by the end of the year, and I can't do that unless you sub up. Also, if you're gonna subscribe, you might as well drop a like. Let's get 400 likes on this video. The Oilers continue to destroy their team, trading Jesse Puljujarvi for a second and a fifth. 2 more trades are made, with Edmonton acquiring a third and a fifth from Colorado and a fourth and a fifth from Buffalo. Okay, serious question here. Are we going to trade everyone away for picks, or are we eventually going to get some players? The Oilers continue to be robbed blind, with Tyson Barrie being traded for 2 second rounders. More picks continue to roll in from Nashville for a trade that included Stuart Skinner. The Oilers finally trade for something that isn't a pick, and we're getting Travis Hamonic from Vancouver. Edmonton's acquiring another defenseman from Minnesota in exchange for a 4th and a 6th rounder. The final trade from this season sums up all the trades so far pretty good. Zach Hyman and Chris Russell are both getting shipped out for guess what? A few picks. Who would have thought? So this is what the team's looking like after all these trades, and I'm going to keep it a stack. This team's buns. McDavid did what he could to carry the team, scoring 37 goals while picking up 58 assists for 95 points. Draisaitl wasn't his usual self, potting only 31 goals and 34 assists for 65 points. To round out the top 3, we got Yamamoto scoring 49 points. And it shouldn't be no surprise that this team wasn't too great and we're missing the playoffs with a 35, 40, and 7 record. McDavid was the only bright spot in the team as he's winning the Art Ross trophy. During the offseason, we only had a handful of trades, and the first one, the Oilers are getting a few more picks for Zach Kassian. I guess you can never have too many picks. Edmonton's finally trading one of their picks for an actual player. And the final move of the offseason, Edmonton's trading a 4th round pick for Noel Acciari. So this is what our roster is looking like heading into this season. And I'm going to keep it a stack. I have questions about this team. After half a season with the Oilers, they're sending Hamonic and Cal Yarcrow to the Pittsburgh Penguins for a 2nd rounder and a prospect. For some reason, after trading for Grimaldi in the offseason, we're trading him away after only a handful of games for 2 picks and a prospect. Edmonton continues to load up on picks, acquiring a 2nd and 3rd rounder from Vegas. The deconstruction of the Oilers continues, with John Myrtle, a 4th and a 5th, being traded to Buffalo for a 3rd and a 4th. With the 9,000 picks Edmonton has, they're finally going to do something with them. For 2 second rounders, we're acquiring Boone Jenner from the San Jose Sharks. After the Boone Jenner trade, Edmonton felt they were short on picks, so they traded for Washington's 2nd and Carolina's 4th. In need of some help on the D-line, the Oilers are reacquiring Oscar Klefbom for a 2nd round pick. It seems as if the Oilers are finally doing something with all their picks. They're acquiring Brandon Saad in a 3rd from St. Louis, Ryan Johansson in a 3rd from Nashville, Jonas Brodin, Ryan Hartman in a 2nd from Minnesota, and Justin Falk in a 4th from St. Louis. The last second moves that the Oilers made definitely saved this team. Without those moves, I think we're in the bottom half of the league. And it should be no surprise McDavid's leading the team once again in points with 28 goals and 62 helpers for 90 points. Not too far behind was Draisaitl with 40 goals and 49 assists for 89 points. And far behind was Yamamoto with only 57 points. With a record of 41, 31, and 10, the Oilers are barely making it into the playoffs, and they're taking on the Las Vegas Golden Knights in the 1st round. Vegas would be too much to handle, and the Oilers are falling in 6 games. Draisaitl and McDavid did their thing, both recording 6 points. And Falk was pulling his own weight too, picking up 4 goals. During the offseason, we had ourselves a ton of trades. The only problem was, there was a trend with these trades. The first move of the offseason involved Edmonton trading Boone Jenner and a 2nd to Seattle for 2 second rounders. Brandon Saad was also shipped out after his short stint in Edmonton for a 3rd and a 4th. Ryan Hartman's time was also short as he's traded for a 3rd rounder, a 6th, and Daniel Villard. More picks were acquired from Detroit for some of our depth forwards. Edmonton finally realized they probably shouldn't just only trade for picks, so they're picking up Jamie Alexiak from Seattle. After trading Calgary's 2024 2nd round pick to Seattle, Edmonton felt they needed a new one, so they traded for Calgary's 2025 2nd rounder. Here's where everything goes bad. Edmonton basically trades the rest of their team away for a 2nd and a 5th from Pittsburgh, a 3rd and a 4th from Buffalo, a 2nd and a 4th from Vancouver, a 2nd and a 4th from Florida, and then 2 seconds to Winnipeg, and finally 2 thirds to Chicago. So this is what we're left with. We have a 4th line comprised of a 68 overall and a 69 overall. If this team doesn't finish dead last, I'll be surprised. Edmonton's about to do something I never thought they would do. They're trading their picks for players, and not the other way around. They're picking up Duplin and a 6th for a 3rd and a 4th rounder. For 2 2nd rounders, Edmonton's getting Kubalik and 2 4ths. For 2 more 2nd rounders, we're getting JT Compher and Cody Sissons. And then for 2 more 2nd rounders, we're getting Jack Roslovic and Ryan Murray. And the final trade of the video is going to be 2 3rd round picks for a 3rd and Lawson Krause. And for the 3rd straight season, McDavid's leading the way with 46 points and 52 helpers for 98 points. While Draisaitl and Yamamoto, they're tied for 2nd with 75 points each. After a crazy offseason and everything that happened during this season, here's what our team's looking like heading into the playoffs. And yes, you did hear me right. Somehow this team made the playoffs with a record of 43, 33, and 6. No matter what happens here, I'm incredibly surprised that this team can make the playoffs. Edmonton continues to surprise me, making it all the way to the conference finals where they would fall to the Dallas Stars. Given what this team looked like at the beginning of the year, I would call this a success. In the playoffs, McDavid would lead the way with 25 points, followed by Draisaitl and Kubalik. It might not be a Stanley Cup, but McDavid's still taking home some hardware with the Art Ross trophy. If you enjoyed this video, I definitely recommend checking the one out on screen, and if you haven't already, make sure to drop a like and subscribe.